What's up, lovers of whiskey and watchers of YouTube? I'm the Malt activist, and in this video I'm going to tell you about 5 rather expensive whiskeys and their much affordable alternatives. You're welcome. Before we begin, here's a big fat shout out to my first time viewers. Thank you for clicking through to that thumbnail. If whiskey is your cup of tea and you love everything about whiskey and the sight of a middle-aged man telling you everything you need to know about whiskey is your jam, then consider subscribing or liking or sharing or commenting or all of the above or none of the above. I don't know. I'm just glad that you're here. So thank you and welcome. To my returning viewers, thank you for keeping your standards so low and sticking around with me. It is highly appreciated. And finally, to my Patreon and YouTube members, you guys are awesome. You're the reason this channel is still up and running. You guys are amazing. Thank you for everything. All right, let's get on with the video. Probably the most popular comment that I get on my videos is, why should I spend this much money on this particular bottle of whiskey when for much less I can go buy something else that satisfies the same cravings? And I absolutely 100% agree with you. Absolutely. Right? The only time I don't kind of agree is when the more expensive whiskey is giving you a different nuance, is giving you a different drinking experience versus the slightly cheaper one. However, having said that, there is a wide variety of whiskeys that are out there where, and they're from the same distillery, where you have a rather expensive bottle, maybe because of its age, but then you have a cheaper bottle within the same range, much cheaper, which kind of gives you the same flavor profile, the same drinking experience. So yeah, why wouldn't you buy that? I 100% agree with you. And so with that in mind, I've made my list. So I selected 5 whiskeys, right, where I thought they were rather expensive, definitely over 120-ish pounds, and found out, hey, can I get the same drinking experience from the same distillery for much lower, let's say closer to the 50-pound mark, right? Without compromising on quality, without compromising on drinking experience, all right? So 5 expensive whiskeys and there are 5 much cheaper alternatives from the same distillery. What? The first whiskey I'm going to talk about is the Old Pulteney 18. That's right, available for about 125 odd pounds. It's not a bad whiskey. I think it's all right. I'm a big fan of Old Pulteney. I think a lot of the stuff that they do is really nice. I really like the Old Pulteney 15. Even the 18 is not bad, mind you. However, from a drinking experience point of view, should you be spending 120 plus pounds on an 18-year-old Old Pulteney when for just 34 pounds 25p you can buy the Old Pulteney 12? Yeah, just buy the Old Pulteney 12 for 34 pounds 25p. I mean, that's an absolute bargain. It is a super delicious whiskey. I think it ticks all the boxes. It really doesn't offer anything much less than the 18 in my opinion. The 18 is a decent dram, but when you compare it to the 12, should you be paying what, 4 times the amount? No, I don't think you should be, And so instead of the Old Pulteney 18, definitely pick up the Old Pulteney 12. In fact, in some of my earlier videos where I've done fantastic whiskeys for under 50 pounds, the Old Pulteney 12 has always been there. It's one of my favorite whiskeys. It's one of my go-to whiskeys. It's a great entry-level whiskey for anybody to start on. Beautiful flavors. What do we know about this? We know it's bottled at 40%. I know, slightly on the lower side, but hey, you're only paying 34 pounds 25p. Matured exclusively in bourbon barrels. From a flavor profile, it's quite sweet, floral, citrus, has lemon and lime, some bananas, and a hint of brine because it's so right next to the coast. And a great dram, a lovely whiskey. I always have one on my shelf, but just today I don't, because you know what? I literally finished drinking it yesterday. It's that good, okay? So if I were you, I wouldn't be shelling out 125 odd pounds for the Old Pulteney 18 when just for 34 pounds 25p I can get my hands on the Old Pulteney 12, which will give me probably as good a drinking experience as the 18. So save your money, buy the Old Pulteney 12. Thank me later. The next whiskey on the list is about 135 pounds, and this one comes from Highland Park. And again, I'm talking about the Highland Park 18 years old. Now, I am a huge fan of the old school Highland Park 18, which kind of changed my life when I drank it for the very first time. I was like, oh my God, what the hell is happening here? Just gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. However, the new 18 leaves a little to be desired in my opinion. Also, 130 pounds. Yeah, 135 pounds if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 135 pounds for the Highland Park 18 years old. Why would you do that when you can easily spend just 58 pounds and buy the Highland Park Cask Strength series? Oh man, this new series, when I first had it, I was like, holy shit, what the hell is this? You know, and I had it and I was like, oh God, and it was so cheap. It was so cheap. It was about 58, 60 pounds. I got my hands on it and I was like, that is a steal. That is an absolute steal because it is just wonderfully constructed. It's easily available. It's cask strength. What the hell? Come on, man. Okay, and let's see what do we know about this. We know it's a non-age statement. First of all, I get it, but bottled at about 63.3%. I believe that's the first edition. It's matured in sherry seasoned American oak. In terms of flavor profile, we're talking light char, honey, lemon, aniseed, mango, vanilla, and that gorgeous Highland Park peat that we all know and love. So for sure, man, for sure, don't go around spending 135 pounds buying the Highland Park 18 years old when for a fraction of that price, when I say fraction, I mean less than half. Yeah, 58 pounds, less than half, maybe 40-45% of the original price of the Highland Park 18. You can get the Cask Strength series and it's at 63%, which means, you know, you're kind of getting a bottle and a half if you really think about it, you know. That means if this was bottled at 40%, it would be, oh, that's a stupid analogy. You know what I'm talking about. You get more bang for your buck. The flavor profile, so creamy, so buttery, so Highland Parky. And at that cost strength, yeah, don't be stupid. Don't spend 135 pounds. I don't care if you can afford it. Why would you? When you can buy two. When you can buy two of the Highland Park Cask Strength series and have some change left over for a cigar. How does that sound? Doesn't that sound like a much better idea than spending all your hard-earned money on the Highland Park 18? Yeah, that's what I thought. And yeah, you're welcome. Our next whiskey, also an 18-year-old. That's right, I'm shooting down all the 18-year-olds, just like they did back in Vietnam. Sorry. What, too soon? Haha, sorry. I'm talking about the Bunnahabhain 18-year-old, which, by the way, not a bad dram. Lovely dram. I quite like it. You know, but it's 140 pounds. It's 140 pounds a bottle, you know. Not a bad drinking experience, mind you. I've drunk many a bottle of the Bunnahabhain 18. However, just with 39 pounds, you can buy its much younger brother, cousin? I don't know. The 12-year-old. That's right. The 12-year-old Bunnahabhain is a fantastic dram. At 39 pounds, yes, another sort of core range entry level Bunnahabhain, which more or less gives you a very similar flavor profile. I think, you know, when it comes to the Bunnahabhain 18 and the Bunnahabhain 12, probably the most amount of difference in terms of flavors and nuances, with the 18 slightly more sophisticated and matured. But again, why would you want to pay 3 times the amount? You know, you're not getting 3 times the fun. I'm going to promise you that. With the Bunnahabhain 12, gorgeous dram. I really, really like it. It's in my top 5, you know, best drams under 50. And again, natural color, non-chill filtered, bottled at 46.3% sherry finish, lovely flavor profile of blood oranges, citrus, sandalwood, oak, quite malty actually. Most maltiest of all the whiskeys on the list here. Cinnamon and allspice, and you put it together and you have a fucking awesome flavor bomb, you know? For what, 39 pounds versus 130, 140 pounds? Why? I always ask myself, why? Yeah, man, don't be silly. Don't be stupid. Save the money. We all need the money. Put cash in your pocket. Leave cash in your pocket and a whiskey in your hand. that gives you the same level of enjoyment as something so much more expensive. Yes, definitely get the Buna 12 instead of the 18. Did I say Buna? I meant Buna Harvard. You could even get the Castrek version actually, if you like. Also a good deal. I should have thought of that. But hey, I think Buna 12 is still very good. Did I say Buna again? I meant Buna Harvard. Yeah, and you're welcome. My last two whiskeys in this list are bourbons all the way from the United States of America. Our number 4 pick for expensive whiskey versus cheap whiskey is the Four Roses Small Batch. That Four Roses Small Batch, do you know how much it cost? It cost 350 pounds. 350 pounds. I don't think anyone has ever seen that much money in their life. 350 pounds for a bourbon, for a small batch bourbon, when for just 45 pounds, you can get yourselves the Four Roses Single Barrel. Dude, such a good whiskey that I'm telling you. And this is what I'm telling you, man. I've drunk all of them. I've drunk every single one of these, right? I'm not just making this shit up. I've drunk them side by side. I have drunk the Four Roses Small Batch, and I have drunk the Four Roses Single Barrel. And I gotta tell you, man, I really couldn't tell that much of a difference. Maybe my palate is inexperienced. Maybe I'm an idiot. The latter probably true. The former definitely. But I gotta tell you, man, when you put these kind of prices in front of me, 350 pounds versus 45 pounds? What? Just a slightly over a tenth of the actual price that I can have the same drinking experience? That's a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. Yeah. Okay, what do we know about the Four Roses Single Barrel? Okay, it's bottled at 50%. Of course, matured in new charred oak, American oak, flavors of dried spice, pear, cocoa, vanilla, maple syrup, plum, and lots of cherries. Just as you would expect in a fantastically constructed bourbon, which the Four Roses Single Barrel absolutely is. I love that bourbon. I can drink it any time of the day. You know why? Because it only cost 45 pounds. But if I had a bottle of the Four Roses Small Batch that I had to spend 350 million pounds for, I would not be drinking that every day. And to me, that's not a win. That's a loss. That's a loss. So for sure, if you're hankering for some bourbon, I highly suggest getting your hands on the Four Roses Single Barrel for 45 pounds. And don't even look in the direction of the small batch. That's gonna cost you more than like 10 times that much. Why? Why would you do that? Why? There's no need. There's no need. You're welcome. You're welcome. And last but not the least, and this is my favorite comparison ever, right? Eagle Rare 17, part of the BTAC, right? The Buffalo Trace Antique Collection. The Eagle Rare 17, I've drunk it, sitting right there on my shelf. I've drunk many a bottle of the Eagle Rare 17. And I gotta tell you, it's a fantastic draft. One of the best bourbons I've ever had in my life. Until I went online and I looked at some of the prices. And do you know what the cheapest price I could find for the Eagle Rare 17? 1,500 pounds. 1,500 pounds, that's like the trade deficit of Liberia. It's ridiculous. Who is going to spend 1,500 pounds on a bourbon, a 17-year-old bourbon, when for just 33 pounds? That's right, just 33 pounds, you can get yourself the Eagle Rare 10-year-old. It tastes almost exactly the same. Please don't believe anyone who tells you otherwise. I've drunk both of them literally side by side. I did a blind tasting. I could kind of tell the difference, but I gotta tell you, it was such a minute difference. I might have even fluked the correct answer. I gotta tell you, I drank them both side by side. The 17-year-old, which cost 1,500 pounds. Jesus, I don't think anyone's ever seen that kind of money. And the 10-year-old, which cost 33 pounds. And I drank them and I said, Jesus, this is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I don't know, if you're a crypto billionaire and you want to show off to people who come to your parties and smoke, I don't know, bihikes and eat caviar on top of naked ladies, fine, serve them the Eagle Rare 17. But for regular Joes like you and me, the Eagle Rare 10 is where it's at. An absolutely brilliant bourbon, absolutely nothing wrong with it. And for 33 pounds, you shouldn't be bloody complaining is what I'm saying, right? You spent 33 pounds on a 10-year-old bourbon, you have nothing to complain about. Even if it tastes like shit, you can't complain about it because you just spent 33 pounds on it. But it doesn't taste like shit. It tastes actually very, very good. It's a fantastic whiskey, absolutely fantastic whiskey. What do we know about it? It's bottled at 45%, of course, matured in new charred oak. Flavors of dark honey, vanilla, toffee, butterscotch, dark chocolate, cherries, and that perfect leather right at the end. Like, this one is such a no-brainer, it's not even funny. Seriously, just get the Eagle Rare 10. It's a great dram, and don't ever buy the Eagle Rare 17. What are you gonna buy it for? And do what with it? Do what with it? I bought it a long time ago. I haven't opened it. It's sitting right there. I don't know when I'll open it. Maybe I will, but I bought it a long time ago when it wasn't that expensive. I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't that expensive. So yes, Eagle Rare 10 versus the 17 any day of the month or the year, any day of the ever. You're welcome. All right, there you have it. There you have it. My 5 expensive whiskeys and their 5 very affordable alternatives, all from the same distillery, right? So while I may be doing a disservice to certain expressions, I am doing a favor to certain from the same distillery. So I'm not. You know what? Look, I'm not knocking distilleries over here. I understand how whiskey is sold and what the perception is and what the perceived value of all these different whiskeys are, and I get it, and it's all marketing, it's all PR. Some of it is like genuine, whatever. But let's face it, right? You and I, we do it for the drinking experience, right? And frankly, if there was a whiskey that I had to spend 500 pounds on and it offered me such a unique flavor profile that I couldn't find in a whiskey that cost 50 pounds, it would not make this list. Of course it wouldn't, because that would be cheating, and we don't cheat on this channel, we don't. But the whiskeys that I have mentioned here, I've drunk them, the expensive ones, and I've drunk their cheap alternatives, and I'd be like, why did I ever? I shouldn't have. I just shouldn't have. But you know, I'm glad that I did, because now I have the knowledge to share with you so that you can make informed decisions, which is what this whole channel is about, right? Saving you money, letting you put money in your pocket. Yeah, that's what you do. I suffer. Money goes out of my pocket so that I gain the experience, and I just pass it on to you for free. Well, unless you're a Patreon member and a YouTube member, then you have monthly payments. But even then, I think it's worth it. Even then, I think it's worth it. Okay, cool. So yeah, next time you're out, don't fall for the expensive age business and the cool packaging and the PR. Follow my advice. Get these whiskeys instead of those. You will be a happy camper. You'll have more whiskeys in your bar than you would if you bought those. You'll have money left over for, like I said, some good cigars, or hey man, whatever floats your boat. Yeah, there you go. So yes, like I said, there's never really a good way to end a video. So I'm the Malt Activist. Until next time, peace.